Hello and welcome to your session with me today. My name is Charlotte Tooth and today's session is 30 minutes of recovery. Now, why is recovery important? Well, not only is it important for your mind, so your nervous system, it's also important for your physical body. So to look after the joints, to increase mobility and to ensure that we have some sort of even sensation through both sides. Yeah, a lot of the times, especially if you're one-sided, you're not ambidextrous, you'll find that one hip's a bit tighter, one hamstring's a bit tighter. So today we just bring a bit of balance back to the body, all right? This is a great session for those of you that are working through injuries, those of you that feel very tight after working hard on your strength hypertrophy goals, and those of you that just need that little bit more just to bring yourself into the rest and digest place. All right, so straps will need to be pretty much fully lengthened if you've got the space around you. We are going to work full body today in this recovery session, so we will get the whole way around the body. We'll start first of all by just warming up the joints. So if you turn to face away from the anchor point, arms overhead and come up onto your tippy toes. We're going to step forward with the left leg into a lunge and reach the left arm back, rotating the upper body round. Pull the arm back up, press into the arms to pull yourself back up to two tiptoes. And again, right leg forward, right arm reaches back, rotate the upper body, pull back through center, push back up. So we'll be here for about 45 seconds. I want you to focus on bending both knees and really putting tension on the straps. If you're not feeling much stretch, you need to walk further forward and feel how the straps are pulling you backwards. Then I also want you to feel that you're lengthening your spine, that you're trying to lift the crown of the head away from the floor, as if you're a footballer just about to go in for a header. So nice and long through the upper back. Nice, just for another 15 seconds. Now, we are going to build a little bit of heat in the thighs here, but don't you worry. We are, of course, going to lengthen them out in a little while. We just want to make sure that everything is warm enough and ready to go for our deeper stretches. Nice. Now on your next one, just stand yourself up. You're going to walk forward and bring your arms to a W shape. Your leg's going to be about hip width apart, and you want to be leaning forward slightly away from the anchor point. Begin to stretch your arms up all the way overhead. Look up, chest up. And then pull your elbows down and lean forward slightly into the straps. So press up, look up. You'll find that you come onto your legs. You're very vertical here. And then bend your elbows and begin to lean forward so you get that incredible stretch at the front of the shoulders. Nice, keep moving between the two, very slowly with control. So this stretch is for those of you that are very tight around the chest. Perhaps you've been doing a lot of push-ups, a lot of chest work. It just opens up the front of the shoulders, makes space right around the front of the body and opens up for all the muscles as well that run down the sides of your back, your lats. Now make this your last one. Great, reach your arms up, cross one leg over the other and spin to face towards the anchor point. Coming into a gentle squat to hip hinge. So legs will be squat width apart. You're going to drop your hips back and down into a deep squat, sit squat, and just move from side to side. Do this for about 5 to 10 seconds, just allowing your hips to crease and your feet to tread into the floor, getting used to being in that position. And then when you come back up, just lengthen the legs, turn the toes to point forward and bow down, reaching your butt back and your chest forwards. Hold it here, bring your weight forward into your toes. Elongate your spine, nice flat back. And then use your abdominals and your hamstrings to come back up. And then we'll go back into the squat. So you'll sit down. You'll gently guide from side to side in your hips. Once you've done a few, just from side to side, opening up the joint, feeling the knees pushing outwards to the sides, away from your midline. You'll then press into your feet, stand up, turn your toes forward, and then bow your chest down. Active arms into the straps. I'm pushing down as if I'm tearing the straps off the wall. Reaching my bum cheeks away from my hands as far as I can. Push down to stand up. You got one more. Slightly out turning the toes if that's what you like. And then into that squat. Now don't stress if you're not as low as this. You could be up here and still getting the benefits of it. Just enjoy the length you're creating in that lower back. You're opening up the hips. Pushing the knees out over the sides of the feet. So you get that nice opening in the groin, the inner thigh, and trying to relax the shoulders as you do it. Great, press through the feet and the hands. Go ahead and bow yourself forward, lengthen the spine, and feel the stretch in the backs of your legs. All the way from the hips, right the way up to the crown of the head, lengthening in opposite directions. Lovely. Now listen, from this position, we're going to start our next sequence. I want you to bend your knees more, as if you're coming into a deeper squat. Then ripple to roll all the way up, tucking the tailbone, dragging your hands towards your hips, and then your head comes up last. So it's a hip hinge, which you already know, softening the knees. And then I want to unravel, so I'm going to bend my knees, tuck my lower back. I'm going to round all the way up to standing as if I'm peeling up one vertebrae at a time. And again, soft knees, butt back. Bend the knees. You get your butt cheeks on the wall. You get your lower back on the wall. You get your mid back, your upper back, and your head. And of course, I'm talking about the invisible wall behind you, which I just made up in my head. Hips back, arms forward. Get your butt on the wall, tuck under, bend your knees, round up, ripple up. Head comes up last. And make this your last one. Hips back, arms forward. Bend your knees. Press down into the handles, pull them towards you as you ripple to roll up. Active flexion. Well done. All right, guys. So we're going to come into a thoracic twist here. So if you turn yourself sideways to the anchor point, and then just go ahead and hold onto both foot cradles with your right hand. Stagger your legs so that your inside leg, left leg, is in front. And then go ahead and make sure that the straps are right in line with your sternum. Legs are staggered and there's an option to lift the back heel. Left arm goes over the strap, and then the left arm is going to reach up. You're going to slowly extend your right arm. It can be a little scary at first. Reach away from the anchor. And then come up and over. Your left arm is essentially making a semicircle, okay? If it feels awkward, move either closer or further away to make it work for your body. And oh my goodness, when you get it right, it is probably the most delicious stretch of all. You get the back of the right shoulder, you get your chest, and you get that lovely twist in your spine. Now listen, as you start to warm up a little more, you're going to find that your hips start to twist, which is why we put this inside leg in front. It stops me from turning my hip bones to the anchor. I want to be profile, I want to be sideways. Yeah, so try and keep this left hip really still. I'm focusing on my left hip, my left hip, my left hip. Just the upper back is rotating. And that's where you get into all those important muscles, the psoas, the hip flexors, lots of wonderful things going on. Into your QL, the muscles that run down the side of your lower back. And listen up, we should switch sides before we start walking around in circles. So grab a hold with your left hand, turn to face sideways to the anchor, and make sure that the inside leg, that is your right leg this time, is in front. Lift the back heel, I like that version, it makes it easier to balance. And send your right arm up and over. Right arm's gonna make a semicircle. It reaches up, it opens out, and I turn to face the anchor. I then come back up. It's like a little row with that left arm. Bit of strength work there. And if it's not working for me, I check if my legs are wide enough. I check my distance from the anchor point. And then one thing that everybody always forgets is square hips. Get the right hip to face forward, like there's a little laser on the hip, and you don't want it to twist. Nice team, and then all you gotta do is start enjoying it. Feel the space that you're making, breathing into anything that feels tight and tense. Subconsciously, sometimes we hold on to tightness and it's ourselves that we are holding it. So if you tell yourself, oh, if I can grip something, I could probably let it go as well. So consciously saying, I'm gonna let go of this tension. Now listen, we'll make this your last one. Take the arm up and over, look back, straighten that left arm, square your hips. Lovely, and stand yourself all the way up. Now listen, we're going to turn to face towards the anchor point. We're going to move into a little bit of stretching for the hips and for the glutes as well. Okay, so for the first one, let's move into a gentle lunge. I want you to send the right leg back for me. Bend both knees and face towards the anchor. Yeah, so from here I've got two legs bent. I want to sit nice and low. And rather than having the right knee under the hip, which I normally do, I want the right leg actually quite far back. Good, now go ahead and straighten the back leg really slowly without lifting your hips up and bend it back in. Yeah, so notice I don't do this. I want to stay low, tuck my tailbone, set my pelvis in that position, and then nothing moves. I straighten my back leg, oh my goodness, and bend it back in. You might not be able to fully straighten the leg. A good test is to put the left hand onto your lower back. Keep the lower back still and stable. When we fix the pelvis in this position, we'll find this incredible stretch. You will not feel anything if when your leg is straightening, your butt is doing this, cheeky twerking. Yeah, you won't feel a thing. Press your butt cheeks forward and under. Left hand to lower back if you want to feel what's going on. Try to straighten the leg. Yes, and you'll feel this right bum cheek working really hard. Oh, and it's a massive stretch in the hip. Make this your last one. Big straightening. Push the hips forward and down. Lovely. And then when you're ready, just pull yourself up to two straight legs. You might need to move back a bit, especially if you're a little bit tight in the hamstrings. Separate your hands to make a wide V position. And then gently, gently dive forward into your forward fold. Now your arms are in a V to help you keep your chest up, but if you know that you're super flexy today, you're welcome to bring your hands closer together and bow yourself down so that you get a deeper stretch, both in the shoulders but also the hamstrings. Now once you've arrived, check that you're not on a tight rope. And make sure that your right leg is not directly behind your left leg. That's what I mean. Legs are gait width apart. Gait width is simply how you normally walk. Usually that's hip width apart for most people. Now listen, we're going to gently rock back and forth and just try to pull the toe up on the front leg as we bend the back leg. And then pull the heel up so we can dive over the front leg a little bit. So it's a gentle rock back. I flex the toes to my face, I bend the back knee. And a gentle rock forward and I just come over the front leg. And my back knee is going to pretty much stay bent the whole time. Your front foot is now a bit of a rocking chair. Toes up. Foot flat, how far forward can you go? Not too much strain in the shoulders. Ooh, hello, falling over. So if you're doing this right, you feel an almighty stretch right the way from the back of your left heel all the way into your left bum cheek. Right up the back of the leg. Oh, last one. Stay forward, hold it there and bow down. Do you feel that deeper stretch in the hamstrings? Hamstrings are the back of the knee to the back of your butt. Oh, gently, gently roll up. Oh, give the legs a shake. I'll give you a brief chest stretch in between each side just to get out of the arms a little bit, and then we'll move into the second side. So take the arms overhead. We did this earlier, but now let's just stagger the legs, one leg in front of the other, offset. And then take your, I like to call them snow angels, elbows down and arms up. And just play around with how you're holding your back. Do you want to push forward? Do you want to lift up to the sky? Have a little play. The thing with mobility is that there's no right or wrong. Essentially, it's just figuring out what feels right for your body at the time. And where I'm tight is not necessarily going to be where you're tight. Nice. All right, make this your last one. Oh. All right, we've got to go for those deep stretches on the second side. So this is the one for, now we're doing obviously the front of the left hip, okay? So step your right leg forward, your left leg back as if you're going to go for a lunge, yeah? And then remember, you want the back knee to be a bit further away than usual, okay? Now bend your knees, get low. Set your pelvis up by tucking under, pubic bone up to the rib cage, yeah? And then keep the hips very still. You're not going to stick your bum out, just slowly, slowly straighten the back leg. Oh, bend it back in. And again, very slowly squeeze your butt. Keep your pelvis nice and still. Bend it back in. Now keep going like that. I'm going to really emphasize what's going on here. I do not want this. This will give you nothing in the hip flexor. I'm trying to go here, tuck. I'm trying to keep it there whilst there's a beautiful extension going on back here. So I feel it right the way down the front of the thigh. Good. You got another 20 seconds. I love this stretch because it makes you strong and mobile, not just very flexible like a rag doll. Butt activation, awareness of position. Oh, such a good stretch when you get it. If you're not feeling it, back leg further back for the last 10 seconds. Oh, team rest there, stand up. Oh, give the legs a shake, and then we're going to come into hamstrings on the right side. So remember, you don't want to be too close to the ankle because it makes the stretch very intense for the shoulders. So just stagger your right leg just in front of your left leg. We'll start with the hands about sort of shoulder height when the straps are tight. And then you're going to simply bow forward, send your butt back, hip hinge like we did in the warm-up. And then just hold it there. Just get used to squaring your hips off. Chances are you'll have to bring your right hip back and your left hip forward, undoing any rotational forces going through your pelvis. Now remember, wide arms will keep you a bit higher, a bit more stable. And narrow arms will give you a little bit more challenge for your shoulders, stability. And for the stretch in your hamstring, because it will drop you lower essentially. And I'm breathing deeply here. I don't want to hold my breath because holding your breath gives your whole body a signal that you're in danger. So it will start to tension and tighten. So you want to give your body signals that you feel great. Long, deep breathing. All right, when you're ready, just bend the back knee. Just lift up onto the ball of the foot. You're going to rock back and pull the toes up. And then rock forward and bring your weight right over the front of that right leg. So rock back and pull the toes up. Rock forward onto that front leg. Now you might find this a bit wobbly, that is normal. But try to create stability through your arms. If the arms are lazy and hanging, not only are you putting a bit of strain on your back, but you won't be stable, and when your muscles feel unstable, they tighten to try and help you balance. Oh. And you want to feel this right the way from the calf muscle, the Achilles, right up here, all the way into the back of the right leg. You just got another 10 seconds. Nice, last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Gently bring yourself back up. Oh, give the hips a wiggle if you need to. All right, we are just about to come onto the floor. Now listen, for the rest of the session, I'm going to recommend that you actually take your shoes off. So if you have the option, take your shoes off. If you don't, absolutely fine. We are going to do a little bit of footwork as we come down to the floor. So listen up, come down to kneeling. Now, if you're not completely happy kneeling, try having a cushion underneath your butt. Sometimes that can help. And I want you to just, without the straps, tuck your toes, keep your legs about hip width apart, and just sit back onto your heels. So you get quite the stretch underneath the ball of your foot. And try to make sure that your ankle bones, I'll turn around so you can see, your ankle bones are not separating out to the side, they are coming underneath you. Yeah, so the heels are pointing straight up. Your feet are making vertical lines like 2 ladders underneath you. Now this is a great exercise for those of you that are quite tight in the feet. Stretches out the muscles under the foot, the plantar fascia. And it's great for those of you that tend to struggle with foot mobility and you obviously wear quite tight shoes. You might find that your feet feel very stiff all the time. Your knees feel stiff. Your feet are like a domino. They affect what the rest of your body feels like. If they are stiff, everything else will struggle as well. If it's too intense, put your fingers down, or even so, walk your hands further forward. You've just got 5 seconds. Ooh, starts to get a bit burny after a while. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done, already. Come back down to kneeling. And again, don't worry if you can't kneel. I'll show you a variation in a second. So I'm going to bring my knees quite close together. And I want to point my left toes. So lift the toes off the ground by pointing the toes. Once I'm pointing them, I want to drag the foot forward as far as I can until I feel a stretch right around the front of the ankle joint. If this stretch is too intense for me, I can lean away from the foot slightly, but just keep hugging the heel into your midline. Okay, so it's just going to stretch out all the front of the ankle, plantar flexion. If you don't like kneeling, a better option is standing. Point the foot, bend both knees. Now it's up to you whether you're more doing a toe stretch, which is to the knuckles of the foot, or a bit more of a sort of upper arch stretch. But go gently, we don't want to obviously break any toes. They're quite tender areas. And the more you lean back, the deeper the stretch. Woo! Now listen, this is not comfy, but I'm just used to it now. Yes, I've desensitized my body with a little bit of discomfort. So now I can go to these deep foot stretches. If this is your first time, you're doing great. Just breathe, rock away from it if it's too much. 10 seconds. All right, release, well done. Whew. You might want to just flick your toes out, roll the ankles a little bit, and we'll do second side. So make sure your knees and toes are quite close together. Point the back foot so the toes lift off the ground, and then start to drag your knee up and through so it creates a bit of a sort of lengthening around the front of the ankle joint. Please remember to hug your ankle joint into your midline. What I see a lot is people rolling their ankle because they take the path of least resistance, right? So ankle bone needs to be straight. Yeah, I'll show you here. Straight ankle bone, straight ankle bone. Oh, and remember the option when you're standing, you can do that one with 2 bent legs. What an intense stretch. If you want more, lean back. Less, lean forward. Now I know it's uncomfortable, but this will do wonders for your feet. Like I said, if your feet are stiff, it affects everything going up from that point. All right, you got 10 seconds left. Nice, and gently, gently release. Again, you might just want to lean forward. Just give your ankles a little bit of a shimmy shake. All right, and we're actually going to finish with some breathing today, just in a couple of different positions. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, breath work, turn off the video, but actually breath work is one of the most powerful things that you could do for your training, whether you're doing strength, hypertrophy, cardiovascular training, or whether it's just mobility. Breath work is going to change your life, I promise you. So come down to a child's pose with your arms out in front of you. I want you to rest your head down comfortably so that you can easily feel like your body can relax into the floor. So if you're straining your head up, just let it go now. Now in the child's pose, we're actually going to turn the palms up as if we're holding a gift for somebody. And we're going to make sure that our arms are quite straight. So there's going to be a massive stretch on our lats, the muscles that run like little wings down our back from shoulders all the way to your lower back. Now stay there in that position. I'm just going to come up so my microphone isn't too loud. And I want you to take a deep breath in and fill up the back of your lungs. And breathe out and just feel the length and the space that you're making. Almost like your hands are being pulled forward by an imaginary force. And again, take a deep breath in. Big breath out. So most people, when they do a lot of sports, they tend to breathe into their chest. So all the muscles around the throat, around the neck, around the shoulders, and the breathing muscles that are responsible for expanding the rib cage get quite lazy. And this is where neck tightness, shoulder tightness comes in. So if we can get these breathing muscles lower down working, not only will it improve your efficiency of workout in terms of not burning out in the wrong muscles, but it will also improve your capacity to take air in into the lower lobes and the back of the lungs. And on your next exhale, chin to chest, roll yourself all the way up. All right, so once you've come to seated position, wrap your arms around your legs, take your chin to your chest, and just let your head hang heavy. Close your eyes and lean forward a little bit so that your chest is resting onto your thighs. And then just feel the breath coming into the back of your body, expanding the back of the lungs. When you do breathing work, the breath usually comes into the path of least resistance. So if we block out the front of the body, we lean into the thighs, naturally we are encouraging the back of the body to expand. So to breathe in as if you're inhaling into your wings of your back. And breathe out to let it go. Nice. And your last one, take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. And roll yourself up. Cross your legs. And you guys are all done. Thank you so much for joining me in the recovery session today. I hope you enjoyed the mix of body weight stretching, but also using the straps to stretch out as well. We also did that little breathing section at the end. If you felt like you needed a little bit longer to get into it or to get into your breath, feel free to hit pause on the video and do that breath work for a little bit longer. Otherwise, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Please remember to do your recovery at least once a week. It really will revolutionize your training, and I will see you again on the next one. Have a fantastic day.